Ship social work professor, who also doubles as the Ship women's soccer team's faculty athletic mentor, had helped more than 200 people find a COVID-19 vaccine appointment. I sat down with Professor Clements earlier this week to speak to her about her accomplishments.
So I guess the story that I always tell people, like I kind of got involved because I was looking for my own mom. And so my mom's in her 70s and like, you know, we were trying to find an appointment for her. And it was like, it felt like I was in the Hunger Games. Like I was like, this is impossible. It's so stressful. And then she was like, at one point she was like, I think I'm just going to pay somebody. She was like, I know somebody who's charging people $100 and they'll find them an appointment. And I was like, what? I was like, that's horrible. And like, my mom's on a fixed income. And like, I was just horrified by that. I was like, I can't believe that we were going to like have people pay money, you know. And then of course I'm a social work professor, and so it really bothered me that we'd be taking advantage of folks who are like very vulnerable, and like, you know, everyone's just anxious and they want the shot. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to get really good at this system and I'm going to figure it out. And so I did that. So in Florida, it's a little different. So that's where she is. But I learned kind of like when things get released. And then somebody hooked me up with a Facebook group in Pennsylvania, and they're like, oh, there's a bunch of people who are doing matching. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And so I just kind of got involved. I matched like a few of my friends' moms and dads, and like a couple people's grandparents who were eligible. And it just kind of started with just like a couple, and it would initially took me like a long time to find a shot. So like I'd get somebody's name and then I'd be looking for like a week. Now I'm really good at it. So I can get like, you know, 10, 20, 30 people in a day. And so, yeah, so I basically like folks reach out to me. And then, you know, I basically like I have index cards, you know, with people's info, and then in their different areas, like, okay, like I've got this person who's in like Mechanicsburg, this person's in Ship, this person's way out towards Pittsburgh, and they just reach out to me and they're like, hey, can you help me? And so that's what I've been doing. So now it's getting like easier and easier, but like I've matched over 500 people at this point, and so like it's kind of become an obsession.
Professor Clements plans to implement her tactics into Shippensburg University and SU Athletics through the social work department. On Monday, East Stroudsburg University shared sad news about one of their own. SUTV's Jacob Hitz looks back on Ryan Smith's life and legacy.
Ryan Smith was relentless. A native to nearby Lancaster County, Smith played basketball for Lampeter Strasburg High School, graduating a 1,000-point scorer and section MVP in 2018. Smith moved on to play hoops at East Stroudsburg, where he electrified the team. Smith averaged more than 16 points a game by season's end, with 473 points on the season, and was named PSAC East Freshman of the Year. By August of 2019, Smith was diagnosed with myeloid leukemia, his basketball career put on hold. Here's Ryan from February of last year.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Ryan Smith, and a lot of you know that I've been battling AML leukemia for the past 6 months. I want to thank everybody who have supported me through this journey, and I just want to thank the entire East Stroudsburg community for how much support they had for me.
East Stroudsburg held a celebration of his life on Sunday night after Ryan was sent home for the last time to say goodbye. These are just some of the messages from his teammates and coaches.
You know, you guys haven't met Ryan, but to me, Ryan was one of the strongest people I've ever met in my life. He is the strongest person I've ever met in my life. He's gave me a lot of hope when I didn't have hope in myself. I was battling a lot of, you know, situations throughout the past few years where I wasn't there mentally, and on the court-wise, I wasn't playing well. And, you know, we developed a bond because, you know, when he was at the highest, he was always giving me the confidence when I was at my lowest.
Oh my God, I saw him about a week ago, and, you know, he still has that smile. Yeah, it's not going anywhere, but his body's just tired, and he said he just needs a break, and, you know, you can't be mad at that because he's a winner. He won in my eyes.
In his best game against West Liberty, a loss in the NCAA tournament, at the end of the game in the press conference, Ryan selflessly gave credit to his teammate, Michael Weiss, for being the toughest defender he played every game and every practice preparing him. And that was Ryan. You know, Ryan's a guy that he always thought of somebody else.
Ryan passed away on Monday at the age of 21. Ryan Smith was relentless. For SUTV Sports, I'm Jacob Hitz.
SUTV Sports would like to send our condolences to Ryan's friends and family at ESU and beyond. The men and women's swim team had their second virtual meet this past weekend, and it was another rousing success for the Raiders. With the men's team, junior Andrew Hale had two remarkable performances, starting off with a 51.94 second time in the 100-yard backstroke. He would then come back and set the unofficial pool record in the 200-yard breaststroke with a time of 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Moving over to the women's team, the Raiders showed some of their best season times of the year. Sammy Taylor and Mari Rayot both broke the 60-second mark in the 100-yard backstroke with 59.97 seconds. Improving by 7 seconds, Natalie Wiley came in with 2 minutes and 34 seconds for the 200-yard breaststroke. Congrats to all of the Raiders on both teams, who are now set to have one more virtual meet before the PSAC Championships, which will take place on the weekend of April 3rd and the 10th. The Shippensburg men's cross-country team placed second overall in the PSAC Championships at Lock Haven this past weekend. 4 runners placed in the top 13, including sophomore Chase McNair, leading the charge by finishing second. He was followed by sophomore Drew Daly, placing 9th, freshman Hayden Hunt placing 12th, freshman Ian Sherlock placing 13th, and freshman Aiden Gonder placing 26th. The team finished second overall behind Edinboro and ahead of 3rd place Lock Haven and 4th place IUP. This is the 8th straight year the Raiders have placed in the top 3 overall at the PSAC Championship. The Shippensburg women's cross-country team placed 7th overall in the PSAC Championships, also at Lock Haven. Junior Kyra Gerber led the Raiders with a 15th place finish, followed by sophomore Isabel Golgert, finishing 22nd. The Raiders edged out East Stroudsburg for 7th overall, behind IUP and Slippery Rock. Edinboro picked up the overall victory. The cross-country season is over, and most runners now transition to outdoor track, which begins this weekend at Lock Haven and Westchester. On Sunday, the Shippensburg softball team had a doubleheader against Shepherd at Robb Sports Complex. In the third, Marsteller would single to right center, which would allow DeFeo to score and put the Raiders up 1-0. The Raiders would keep that lead until the 6th inning, when they would allow 5 runs and go on to lose the game 5-2. In the second game, the Raiders would not be able to overcome an early 5-run deficit and go on to lose the second game 5-4. Tuesday, the Raiders took on the Huskies in Bloomsburg that would see Ship winning 15-4. Hannah Marsteller had an incredible performance with 6 RBIs and 2 home runs in the 4 at-bats. The softball team will be back in action on Friday at Lock Haven. First pitch is at 2:30. Lacrosse had a tough task on Wednesday as they took on Westchester, the number 5 team in the country. We start in the first half as Westchester's Kelly Bowman fakes a pass and cuts in for a goal. Westchester leads 5-1. Following another goal by Tatum Altman would find the back of the net for Westchester, now 7-1 Golden Rams. Ship would quickly answer back as Gabby Savarino takes the pass and cuts straight in and puts it in the top corner. After a tricky play from Westchester to confuse the defenders, Lindsay Monagle would score her first goal of the year. Westchester wins 20-6. Last Saturday, Ship Lacrosse was in action at Robb Field taking on Shepherd University. Coming into Saturday, the Raiders were winless on the season and looking to turn things around. At the end of the first half, the score was 5-5 and things were looking up for the girls, but Shepherd came out strong for the second half. The final score of this one was 13-9, and the Raiders moved to an 0-4 record for the first time since 2005. On Saturday, Shippensburg's men's baseball team played a doubleheader against Shepherd. SUTV's Jack Ainsley has more.
On Saturday, the Shippensburg baseball team played a doubleheader against Shepherd. Shepard would strike first in the top of the first inning, and Dalton Stewart would crush one to left field to give Shepard the early 1-0 lead. The Raiders would respond in the bottom of the first inning, and Ben Wertheiser hits one to right center field to tie up the game. Later in the inning, with one out and runners on first and second, Zaraski would homer to right to bust the game open and give the Raiders a 3-run lead, 4-1. Shepard would respond in the top of the sixth when Edwards would pop out to center field, which would allow Gibson to score and cut the lead down to 2 runs. The Raiders would go on to win the game 5-2 and get their second win on the season. They would end up losing the second game of the doubleheader by a score of 8-5. For SUTV Sports, I'm Jack Ainsley.
Baseball is back in action on Friday with the doubleheader at Lock Haven. First pitch is at 12 o'clock. Infielder Ben Wertheiser was named PSAC East Athlete of the Week for his performance during last weekend's games against Shepherd. In 4 games, Wertheiser was 8 for 12 at the plate, which also included 5 home runs and 7 RBIs. Throughout the weekend, he was an all-around player as he started 3 games at second base and even started a game at catcher as well. Also, due to his outstanding play at the plate, Wertheiser was named the NCBWA Hitter of the Week. That's it for SUTV Sports this week. I'm Mackenzie Mitchell. Be sure to follow all of our social media at SUTV News and check out our website at sutvnews.org. We're back with world news and entertainment tomorrow. Until then, good night.